So I'm gonna show some clips of what I looked like beforehand. Not proud of it at all, but finally got some of it off. So roughly it's about 35 pounds, I would guess, of actual fat. Because I did put on a decent amount of muscle from that weight as well. And right now I'm about 218 and my peak weight during COVID was 250. So first things first, it's cardio, but specifically finding different cardio methods that keep you engaged. So I started off with just walking. Me personally, I get bored with doing the same thing over and over again. So I eventually bought a bike, like a mountain bike. I bought a skateboard. I didn't buy all these at the same time. It was just, I'll go through periods of using them and then I'll get bored and go do something else, right? I bought a jump rope. I was doing that for a while. That's a very good cardio exercise, by the way. Bought a weight vest to walk in to kind of make more of my walks when I did them. So finding these different things that can keep you engaged is more important in my opinion, and it's going to help you with being consistent, because it's very easy to say go on the treadmill. It's so boring, bro. Honestly, it took me so many years to actually be able to get on the treadmill and just do it. So I was rowing a lot for a while just because it was different and it was engaging, like I said. So that's my number one thing. Just get in activities that keep you engaged. Muay Thai, sports, do it. Like I was playing basketball as well. Literally, I was never out of options, right? So number two for me, now I'm not saying you have to do this, but this worked for me, was I got a DEXA scan during that time. So DEXA scan, for those who don't know, it's like a breakdown of, a breakdown of your body fat and more things that go along with it as well. Oh, that's not going to focus. But it shows your body fat. It's very specific though. It'll show you where you lost your fat, like specifically like both arms, right arm, left arm, trunk, total body. So it's very descriptive. And what this did for me was it actually showed me my true body fat percent at the time. So it was about 24%. I thought it was like 18 or 19, honestly. Crazy me. But to actually see this on paper and see where it's broken down gave me like a really good baseline. Okay, this is what's really underneath everything. And now I can work with what I have, knowing what's underneath, right? So, and it also gives you a metric to kind of compare to in the future. So I do believe that even outside of the gym, using metrics and numbers and stats to kind of track your progress, it works with so many. I think it works with anything you're trying to improve on. Me seeing that 24% body fat and the weight that I was at the time and where it was predominantly stored and everything like that just gave me such a baseline of, okay, like I have something to work with. I know it's really there, right? So if you can get some type of a measurement, the more accurate, the better. These are very, very accurate. I think most people would agree that they're most accurate. Then the most accurate method. That's something that I would recommend. Honestly, anytime someone asks me, how do I lose weight? I always say, get your DEXA scan first, just so you can know like what's really there. It's typically gonna be worse than you think. Planning out meals, but also not just having meals, but understanding what you're actually going to eat. Like don't do the plain broccoli, the plain rice, the plain chicken, and you know you're not gonna eat that for 3 weeks, for example. Like it has to be something that you know, almost that you're gonna be excited to eat, right? And there's plenty of things that you can switch out and replace that are going to make the food more enjoyable. So just an example, rice is very boring. You just season your food, bro. Honestly, like seasoning goes such a long way. But just for the rice example, I switched from rice to potatoes. Potatoes, you can get more volume in potatoes, in my opinion. They're more filling for the same amount of calories of a cup of rice. A cup of jasmine rice, I believe, is 200 calories. And like 2 yellow potatoes is about 200 calories as well, from what I remember, or 220. So like the ones that I have, for these ones, they're roughly about 220 calories for two of these. So I cut them into like fries, boil them a little bit, put them in the air fryer. Tastes amazing, right? So again, it's about knowing what you're going to eat, knowing what you're going to come back to, and try to make it more interesting, and knowing that, okay, I have a sweet tooth. What can I replace, my candy with or my sugar with? Like, okay, I can do Greek yogurt and mix berries, like, cook the berries. That's what I do. And then add a bit of honey. Like there's so many different things you can play around with, right? So that's what I was doing. I was doing a lot of smoothies at the time as well, because I was at a state where I didn't even feel like eating solid food. Like I just wanted to be light. So smoothies really helped. So another one for me was, this is something I've been doing for years, and obviously you've heard it before, but tracking calories. Not just tracking calories, but also tracking macros. I broke a major black plateau when I started tracking macros. And it was something that I put off for so long. I'm like, hey, like that's what like bodybuilders do or whatever. I don't need to do that. Like, cause I got to 250 to 230 with just doing the exercise and changing my diet, right? But you have to realize that the lower weight that you get, the harder it's going to become to take off that weight. So you're going to have to get more detailed and there's less room for error, right? So that's why they focus on macros so much. So, and when I did my macros, they actually, the calculation showed that I should be getting more carbs than I was comfortable with. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. But I did it anyways. And literally within the same like 2 days or 3 days, I broke through a major plateau. I think it was like 224. Like there was a range where I was just stuck at, and no matter what, I couldn't get through. Broke through it crazy. And I'm like, okay, that's why they follow macros, right? So, but tracking your food, you most likely don't know. If you're not tracking your food, you don't know what you're eating. It's so easy to go, oh, I just had a handful of nuts, and you have no idea how many calories are in nuts and a bunch of other things, sauces that you eat, like drinks. Once you actually start seeing it, when you measure on MyFitnessPal, for example, then you're like, okay, I see why it's so easy for me to put on weight, right? But the other thing is when you start switching out foods like high density foods that are low calorie, like a lot of vegetables, for example, or chicken breast, it's very lean. Then you can see, okay, that's how some people stay lean all the time. They just swap out the foods they eat. They're not starving themselves. They're just eating more calorically dense food that is going to keep them full longer. And it might be less calories than the shit that I was eating before, right? Breaking up my cardio sessions into 3 sessions. So before I would do like an hour and 15-minute walk. It's a pretty fast walk and I'll be drenched after, full of sweat, out of breath. And it's like those workouts where I'm trying to do it every day, but because of how grueling it is, I don't want to do it every day, right? And I think that's the part of the consistency. Is like you kind of want to manipulate these things to make sure that you actually look forward to it the next day that is coming, or at the very minimum, you're just okay with it. Like, so those long walks, those tiring walks, I'm like, man, I'm tired, I'm sweating, like I don't want to do this again tomorrow. And I was listening to More Plates, More Dates, and he's like, he breaks up to 3. Like, so I just found another route around my house that takes 23 minutes. That's why I just ran it 25 minutes. 25 minutes, 3 times a day. So 1 in the morning, 1 when I get home from work, and then 1 at night, for example. And that equals up to 115 minutes, which is the same as the 1 hour, 15-minute walk that I was doing, right? So they all equal out the same. It's just, again, but that's a lot easier though, right? So I'm not full of sweat after, I'm not huffing and puffing after, I'm not exhausted. After a while doing that, it just feels so easy, right? It's like, I kind of compare it to, trying to eat 2,000 calories in 1 meal. Like after, you're gonna feel tired, you're gonna fall asleep for sure, right? You're not gonna feel energetic, you're gonna feel lethargic probably, versus you just broke it up into 5 meals. It's very easy to digest, you know what I'm saying? So the next thing that helped me is a lot. So I got this Apple Watch. I used to have a Fitbit before, and when I lost most of this weight, it was when I had the Fitbit. If you can get some type of watch tracker that tracks steps, it doesn't have to be expensive. I just like Fitbit. I got this for free from work, so honestly, but for tracking activity, I actually like Fitbit more. Track your steps, track your calories. The calories are not going to be perfectly accurate, but it's giving you a metric regardless. It's better than nothing. Time your activity, heart rate. Those things will go such a long way, especially when it comes to cardio, because when you can see, or you have reminders on your watch, like you only burned this many calories today, you only took this many steps today, and you set a step goal, for example, then it's almost like having a buddy beside you reminding you like you're supposed to do this thing, And then when you do it and you have a metric, then it's like you have something to compare it to, right? Last week I got 10,000 steps. That's not a lot. Like I want to get to 13, right? And then going forward, you're like, make sure every night, like this needs to hit 13 steps. Even if after I play football and it's 11, I'm going to go home and make the extra 2,000 steps. These are the type of things that you want to have around you, like to keep you accountable and keep you on top of your goal. It reminds you, I need to do this. You're slacking on this. Again, it's what I said before. It's just another way to track your metrics, right? That's all it is.